Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. In the run-up to the presentation of the Union Budget, in that excitement, a very important development according to us has been overlooked and sidelined. Speaking at the annual India Economic Policy Conference at the Stanford University by way of a keynote address, the former Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Urijit Patel said that it has been the failure of the government, the banks, and also the regulator, which is the Reserve Bank, till the year 2014, which has led to this giant and unmanageable NPA crisis in India. He said that the banks indulged in overlending, the government did not play its role, and he conceded that the Reserve Bank should have acted earlier. He said that it was when Raghuram Rajan ordered an asset quality review of banks in 2015 that the stress in the system was revealed and the insolvency and bankruptcy law was formulated in India. He thus said that because of this entire fraudulent lending, there was a sharp decline, there has been a sharp decline in the ability of banks to lend to the economy, whose growth rate is sagging at the moment and certainly is in need of bank lending, which they can't do. He thus warned that this problem does not have shortcuts. You cannot sweep it under the carpet. You cannot wish it away. And the more you delay it, it will delay the unlocking of capital locked in these bad loans and will also delay the efficient utilization of capital. He thus suggested, do not delay negotiations. Do not delay taking of haircut decisions by banks. Otherwise, he said the problem will continue to haunt the sector. What Dr. Patel says is now common knowledge. It's an undisputed fact. It was in those 10 years of UPA banking misrule, as we would call it, that banks generously and heavily gave loans to the most unworthy borrowers, which includes Jet Airways, Sterling Biotech, ILFS, Bush and Steel, and hundreds and thousands of others who are now facing criminal investigation for having indulged in fraudulent borrowing of loans. But then, it is a system that colluded together in giving these politically induced corrupt loans wherein everybody participated. It was known at the very inception when these loans were being given that the loans will turn bad, but everybody colluded, right from the finance minister to his top babus, to the top bankers, to the auditors, and sadly, down the line, as it turns out, even the Reserve Bank of India, by being a silent witness to what was happening, even though it was aware of it. Thus, the collusion was multi-layered. All these agencies and authorities colluded, as I said, in giving politically induced corrupt loans. They colluded at the time of sanction of the loans. When these borrowers defaulted, they again colluded in giving good loans to repay the bad loans, greening of accounts as we call it. When that also did not work, it was not bound to, they then indulged in a bogus restructuring of accounts to make those defaulted accounts look like viable and good loans. And while all this was going on for years, this fraud was perpetrated on the nation for years. While all this was going on, the bankers manipulated their financial statements, so did the borrowers, so that the truth is not revealed. So this fraud was perpetrated for years on the nation because of an erosion in the integrity of all these authorities involved, starting from the FM to the top babus, to the bankers, to the auditors, and down the line, the Reserve Bank of India by being a silent witness. It was because of this all-round collusion in the system that the likes of Chanda Kochar, under her, ICICI gave loans to the likes of Videocon, which turned bad. It was done for bribes, and it was because of this systemic collusion that she continued to manipulate the financial statements of ICICI Bank, and for doing all these criminal misdeeds, she was rewarded with a Padma Bhushan. The unfortunate part is that the Reserve Bank of India was aware of what was going on in the system. The Reserve Bank conducts an annual inspection of banks, and in this inspection, it comes to know things threadbare. It was aware. It did not raise the red flags. It did not report. It did not object. And so the problem festered. The rot in the system continued for all these years. And what we are seeing today is this giant NPA problem which the government has not been able to sort out. We can understand the Neta being corrupt. We can understand the borrower being corrupt and the banker being corrupt. But it is difficult to accept a respectable regulator like the Reserve Bank being negligent, being willing to collude in the system. And of course, it is sad to see the auditors too colluding, because both the Reserve Bank as a regulator and the auditor are independent authorities, and they were expected to not remain silent, not let the crooks loot the system, but they chose to do that, and the crooks looted the system. This is a case of all-round erosion of integrity in the system. The fact remains is that India has suffered a huge financial loss. More than 10 lakh crores lost by banks. The government has already pumped in 2,87,000 crores till last year in recapitalizing banks, and in this budget it has provided for another 70,000 crores to be recapitalized in banks. That's the kind of financial loss we have suffered. And with these loans being bogus and the money being siphoned away, banks are giving huge haircuts to settle these bad accounts. So the banks have little hope of recovering a lot of this money. That's the kind of financial loss that took place. Yet another loss that is taking place is because the banks are not able to lend money, the economy is suffering, the economic growth is suffering. That is yet another loss that the country is suffering. But according to us, apart from this huge financial loss, there has been a huge loss of integrity of the system and a loss of public faith in the government and all these bodies. That has been a bigger loss to the system, and that is a national loss. The curiosity that we would have is, Arvind Subramaniam, the earlier chief economic advisor, he revealed in a paper to the Stanford University in USA that the government had doctored the statistics related to India's economic performance. Dr. Patel also revealed this particular truth in America in an address to Stanford University. A curiosity is that why do these top authorities not reveal the truth when they were in power, when they knew it? And what is it? What is the fear that they have that even after retirement, they do not reveal this truth on the Indian soil and choose to do it on a foreign soil? We remain curious. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.